Yeah, Project Raw for us, as it's been communicated to the teams, is about aligning people within the organisation to the skill sets that are going to facilitate the goals and the growth agenda that has been communicated by our leadership team. So clearly Michael Sardi and the guys are wanting to grow our business.
I think corporate banking moving into the Raw model is definitely a positive step for corporate banking. By splitting people's roles and responsibilities, we can all play to our strengths and help to achieve that goal.
I think the new model will facilitate greater communication and collaboration amongst the teams. There's going to be a heightened sense of collaboration because there's the nature of how we've been operating. We've all been responsible for both the functions that Raw is now separated into, and I think for Raw to really work, we're going to have to collaborate and work more as a team, and that's going to come down to every individual in the separate three areas: the client services, the credit management, the relationship management, really working together.
You know, I have 2 young children at the moment, so I've got to juggle and I work full time. Credit, I enjoy it comes naturally to me, so it's less stressful than a current hybrid role. But looking long term, it's a model that I can change and jump into origination because I also like that. So it's just really, the options available in career progression for me.
I think I'm looking forward to most aspects of the change. In truth, I think it should give us hopefully more time to do things, and I think that's possibly the most important part of this for I think a lot of people, and definitely for me, is less tasks to do overall and more time to do them. So I'm really looking forward to that.
My only concern will be the initial handover process. There are people moving between portfolios, people moving roles. I would say it would need to be very closely managed, and the directors really actually need to step up and lead the process and ensure that things are done smoothly.
Project Raw is possibly looking at refining that list of tasks down, and so I do fear some loss of variety in that way.
The Raw team briefed us on how we should go about the selection and the process, and we had a meeting on that, so it was clear. There was plenty of time to have discussions with family, friends, your boss, your peers. Be open-minded about it, speak to the people that are close to you, and it should go fairly well.
I think Project Raw is a great idea because it gets people like myself more involved in the bank's business, and we can bring technical knowledge to the job, and the frontline can tell us more about the relationship side of it. So we can really work together all the time as opposed to just having the occasional meeting every now and then like we used to.
Do I feel like being part of a corporate team or the client services team? Well, that's a bit like being asked whether you like mum or dad. And as we know, if that was the question, the answer would be both of them.
So I think it was a very good idea having an orientation program so close to go live date, and it comforted people. I think it definitely comforted people. I think people do need to be coached through these things.
I feel that the coaching and the support which is in place has helped me feel more comfortable about the handover process, and so I don't feel like I've been put into the deep end, rather that I can ask as many questions, and if I have any concerns I feel comfortable bringing them up with my executive director and the team.
I was perhaps expecting that there'd be a day where a lot of things change, and that hasn't been the case, and that's been quite nice to see that it's been much more relaxed.
It was more or less a normal day at the office. I saw a few new requests that I hadn't seen before, a few curveballs there, but really it was just a normal day.
The level of information's been excellent. There's been a lot, so people shouldn't feel any worries about what their new roles will be. And I think everyone would feel fairly confident that they've got the requisite skills as part of the new process to go forward.
The biggest change is the arrival of the CCS staff and integrating them into what we do, and that's been a really positive change. And I think most of the AMs especially will tell you that.
I've noticed though there has been a pretty big change within the team dynamics, and people are conversing more in groups more within the team. As a whole, everybody's on board and everybody is starting to work like a larger team as opposed to individual teams. People are becoming friends within the team, and it's really good to see.
I do feel that, we are starting to feel more and more a part of both teams.
Different people and different ideas into teams and larger teams, I think, always make a bit of a a difference, but some fresh blood, so to speak, and some new personalities is always, I think, a really good thing. Something that's livened definitely my team up a little bit. In terms of actual cultural shift, I don't think that there's been a huge one, but I don't think that there necessarily needed to be, perhaps other than the team versus individual sort of a shift that took place.
Yeah, the customer feedback's actually taken me by surprise. I thought there might have been a little bit more, not pushback, but more query around it, and it's actually gone reasonably well.
In my experience with my customers, I would say there has been a noticeable response from them, and it's a positive one.
Spending a lot of time training my buddy, but also spending a lot of time training means that I'm effectively doing some of those tasks that are meant to be transitioning. So I see that as probably a process that'll continue for the next few months at least.
Transferring how you do things from your old role to your new role can be a bit difficult. You tend to do things the old method and sort of resist the change there, but I think I'm going quite well with that.
In my particular role, on the relationship management side, a lot more time out with the customers already, and I think that's a positive thing. And you know, we've got strong pipelines of deals, and it's being able to focus on those. That's something that's already changed. So there's that time shift, I suppose, and I guess that's the whole point.
Less diary notes, less credit memorandums, less, for me specifically, and more time focused on maybe possibly bigger picture things, if that's the way to sum up the change that's happened for me.
The outcomes of that workshop were very simple. One of the things that I personally got out of it was to prioritise my to-do list and also not trying to respond to emails the moment they hit my inbox.
Apparently we spend, on average in the finance industry, 6 hours a week doing things for our clients, and that was a real eye-opener for the entire team. We realised how much time is spent with internal reporting and other such things, and how little time is actually spent focusing on the customer, which is what our jobs are supposed to be.
There's been the budding systems, the change champions, there's been the workshops, the senior leadership communication, but I think you need all that to have it done properly.
It's been very time consuming, but all in all, I think a wholesale change like that requires that amount of time.
If I could sum it in 2 words, I would say that Project Raw is positive change.
Don't sweat the small stuff. I think look at this as a big change, and a change that's going to bring a lot of opportunities and a lot of benefits.
Don't be scared to change. There's no need to resist anything, because I think you'll find it's not as big of a challenge as you might think, and there's a lot of positives in there.
I think the best advice is just to not worry about it and let it happen.